Hi there, and welcome to this 126th live Q&A session. Let me check the audio, guys. And you can ask me your tech-related questions, and you have to post your questions on Twitter and use the hashtag that is known as askgeekyranjit, and I'll take up the questions. And I can already see quite a few questions, so let's start taking them up. And I got this question from Naman Jain. And again, guys, if you post the questions, let's say half an hour or like one day earlier or something like that, I won't be able to take them. It's a live Q&A. So generally, before the live Q&A starts, just a couple of minutes before that, if you post the question, then there is a good chance. Otherwise, I won't be able to take up the questions. Anyways, let me just check the audio once if it's working fine. So yeah, it's working fine. So let's take it up. And this is by Naman Jain. He's asking which is the best to buy, Moto G3 or the OnePlus X. He says his priorities are battery life, little gaming, and overall end user experience. Naman, I would say as you have clearly mentioned that battery life is a priority to you. There I feel the Moto G3 does better than the OnePlus X. The OnePlus X is actually a very good handset. It's a very stylish handset, I would say. But in terms of battery life, I would say the the Moto G3 will be better. Also, as Moto G3 is almost stock Android experience, so you will also get the Android updates faster on the Moto G3. So my pick, as you have told, the battery life is really important, would be the Moto G3. Also, the Moto G3 is sort of water resistant device. Let's move to the next question. This is by Harsh Raju, and he is asking which is better, S7 or the S7 Edge. He says budget is not an issue. I would say if your budget is not an issue, just go with the Galaxy S7 Edge rather than the regular Galaxy S7, because the simple fact is that we have a higher capacity battery on the S7 Edge compared to the regular S7. So the battery life is a lot better, I would say. Also, strangely, I also have the S7, regular S7, and this is the review unit. And I feel strangely, the S7 in the hand feels a lot heavier because the weight, it's a lot more dense, I would say. So it feels a little bit top heavy in my opinion. That way, I feel the weight distribution is a lot better on the S7 Edge. So if budget is not an issue, I would suggest the S7 Edge over the regular S7. But again, just get a case if you're buying the S7 Edge because it's sort of pretty slippery. Let's move to the next question, and that was from Radhe Tripathi. And he's asking, he says he's really confused between the Redmi Note 3 and the Vibe X3. Please tell me the aspects in which one of them is superior. Obviously, the Lenovo Vibe X3 is a superior device compared to the Redmi Note 3, I would say. This is the Redmi Note 3 and this is the Vibe X3. But again, there is a huge price difference, I would say. Even if you get the 3 GB model, the Redmi Note 3 is 12,000, this is 20,000. I would say the build quality on the Vibe X3 is definitely much superior. It just feels a lot more superior to hold, I would say. But in terms of battery life, I feel the Redmi Note 3 gets better battery life. In terms of camera, again, the Vibe X3 has a better camera. Also, in terms of speakers, the Vibe X3 has better speakers. So again, it comes down to your budget. Even the Redmi Note 3, I would say, for its price point, is actually a very good device. So I would say decide based on that. Also, coming to the display, both have a 1080p display, but the screen quality is definitely much better on this Vibe X3. So decide. If you have a very tight budget, you can definitely go with the Redmi Note 3. It's a very good device. But if budget is not an issue, you want slightly premium device with better audio, if you listen to a lot of music, I would certainly say go with the Lenovo Vibe X3 because the DAC on this is actually excellent. It can drive even heavy headphones. I hope that info helps. Let's move to the next one. This is by Naveen the Geek. He's asking Lenovo K5 Plus versus the Asus Zenfone 2 Laser versus the CoolPad Note 3, which is value for money. What do you mean by value for money? If you're talking about which is the fastest among them, then obviously the Lenovo K5 Plus is the faster device because it is having the new Snapdragon 616 chipset. But again, the CoolPad Note 3 had that fingerprint scanner, which is not present on this K5 Note. But the K5 Note has been performing pretty well. Asus Zenfone 2 Laser was a very good phone, but now it's sort of outdated, I would say. It's having the old Snapdragon 410 chipset, which is fairly old. So if you want the, I would say the latest one, the Lenovo K5 Plus with its Snapdragon 616 might be the best choice. Let's move to the next one. This is by Gurpreet Singh. He's asking Snapdragon 808 versus the Snapdragon 810, which is more powerful. Obviously, Gurpreet, the Snapdragon 810 chipset is more powerful chipset. For example, Google used the Snapdragon 810 chipset on the Nexus 6P, but whereas their budget device, that was the Nexus 5X, has the Snapdragon 808 chipset. So let's move. This is by Faizan. He's asking, please start doing speed tests. What do you mean by speed tests? It doesn't make any sense doing speed tests. I'm not a big fan of speed test and benchmarking. I generally sometimes talk about benchmarks in my full review, but regarding iPod Touch, no, I have no plans to review it. When will the iPhone SE launch? It's already launched and at a crazy price. So in India, it's a very high price, I feel. This is by Aditya Ghosh. He's asking Mi 5 versus the Nexus 5X versus the Galaxy S6 versus the iPhone 6. Which one would you prefer? Oh, this is an interesting question. I would say I will not go with the Galaxy S6 or even the iPhone 6 because they are pretty old devices. Between the Mi 5 and the Nexus 5X, I would say it depends upon the camera. If you take a lot of pictures in artificial lighting and low lighting conditions, definitely the camera on the Nexus 5 is better. But again, if camera is not your highest priority, you can compromise a little bit on the camera. Definitely go with the Xiaomi Mi 5. It's a very fast phone. It's a flagship device, guys. And overall, the performance is brilliant. You can compare it to, actually, the performance is very close to what we get with the Galaxy S7, apart from the camera, in my opinion. And also in terms of battery life, I feel the Mi 5 gets slightly better battery life than the Nexus 5X. So I hope that info helps. Again, this is by Naman Jain. We got a similar question, but we'll just take it. Which is the best buy between the Moto G3 and the OnePlus X? I think so. We have already answered. I would say the Moto G3 would be better. It'll get faster Android updates. And even in battery life, the Moto G3 is better. This is by Harshad Gokhale. Camera comparison between the K4 Note versus the Redmi Note 3 and fingerprint on both. Fingerprint on both actually performed very similarly. I couldn't see any difference. Both of them actually have very good fingerprint sensor. I actually don't have the Lenovo K4 Note to test it side by side with the Redmi Note 3. But again, all of them actually perform very averagely in low lighting. That's the problem with the cameras in the mid-range price band. Outdoors, they do actually very good. In fact, if you watch my Redmi Note 3 FAQ video after, and even the unboxing video, I have posted some snaps. Sorry, the Redmi Note 3, you can watch the full review where I posted a lot of pictures, and you'll notice that outdoors it does actually very good. In fact, you can get that beautiful bokeh effect also with the Redmi Note 3, even in the auto mode. That way the K4 Note also performs very well in outdoor lighting. But all of these devices actually sort of struggle in artificial lighting and low lighting. So camera performance is sort of very similar. Let's move to the next one. This is by Dr. Vikar Sheikh. He's asking, will 2GB 16GB Redmi Note 3 last for 2-3 years without hanging, or should I buy the K4 Note camera and good processor? I would not suggest the Lenovo K4 Note. The Lenovo K4 Note has a very slow processor compared to the Redmi Note 3. The Redmi Note 3 is having the Snapdragon 650 SoC, guys. It's really fast. Whereas the Lenovo K4 Note is using an outdated MediaTek chipset. It's not even the Helios X10 that we find on the LE1S. So between the two, obviously my vote would go with the Redmi Note 3, even if it's the 2GB model. But I would say if you plan to keep it for 2-3 years, just go with the 3GB model because of the higher internal storage. And obviously the 3GB model is better in multitasking. But yeah, definitely better than the K4 Note. The processor on the K4 Note is sort of pretty outdated. Also, if you stress the K4 Note, it heats up quite a bit. I'm just going to take one question per user. So Naveen, sorry. This is by Ram Kumar's. Which brands provide periodic Android updates on their phone? I would say if you want the fastest update, obviously the Nexus devices are there to go. But now I've noticed some of the brands are providing the Android security update. But again, they only do this for their flagship devices. Just today, I got OT update. I even tweeted about it in the morning on this S7 Edge, and it has the latest, Android security patch for April. So with Nexus devices, yes, obviously you get, but with other brands, I've noticed, yes, they are also releasing these patches, but only for their higher end devices. Let's move. And let me check the audio, guys, for a second. Always scared audio. Yeah, it's working great. This is by Aditya. It's an interesting question. He says, is the Note 4, I think so you're referring to the Galaxy Note 4, worth buying only for its camera performance? And what are your thoughts on the HTC 10? Oh my God. HTC 10. Let's talk about HTC 10. What a bonkers HTC did. HTC 10, the HTC's latest flagship was announced today, sort of launched, I would say. But the big bummer is that the HTC has two variants of the HTC 10. The powerful variant is only getting launched in the US and Europe. That comes with Snapdragon 820 chipset. But for other regions, including India and Asia, we are going to get the dumbed down Snapdragon 652 variant. So I'm not happy with that. It's just looks like HTC is like doing discrimination. Why do we have to get the lower end variant? And I'm sure even the HTC 10, that's the Snapdragon 652 variant, won't be priced very aggressively in India, like under 25,000 or something. I'm sure HTC will price it above 40,000. So when HTC is going to charge that much, why give us an inferior processor? I'm really, really disappointed with HTC and what they are doing. I don't know what's wrong with this company and who makes such kind of silly decisions. Officially, if you go to htc.com/in, just look at the specs. We are just getting the Snapdragon 652 variant. I'm really annoyed with HTC. Anyways, let's move to Aditya's other question. And he was asking, is the Note 4 still a decent device? Aditya, my wife actually uses the Samsung Galaxy Note 4 and it's been performing well now. Still, in fact, yesterday I was just playing around with the phone and still it's performing pretty well. I did not notice that much lag and stuff. So if you like the phablet and specifically use the S Pen features, you can go with the Note 4. But again, remember, it'll be almost about a 2-year-old device. But if you like the S Pen, and the advantage with the Note 4 is that it has a removable battery and even has the IR blaster, which the Note 5 does not have. So again, decide on that. And I feel again, the Note 5 has that fake leather back, which has a lot more grip in the hand compared to the the Note 4 has that. Whereas the Note 5 has the glass back, which is sort of slippery. So yes, to sum it up, yes, the Note 4 still is working perfectly fine. But again, it's a sort of an old device as of now. I hope that info helps. Let's move now to the next one. This is by Shivek. He's asking, which phone should I buy? The Galaxy S7 or the S6? My priorities are overall performance and the camera. Obviously, go with the Galaxy S7. That's a better device. Obviously, the camera is also better on the S7. This is by Tech Junkie. He is asking, should we buy the Mi 5 for 25,000? Is there any pros and cons? Tech Junkie, for the price 25,000, the Mi 5 is the most powerful device that you can get. I don't think so there is any other device that comes with a Snapdragon 820 chipset for 25,000. Just wait for my full in-depth review for the details, pros and cons. Yes, obviously, everything is not rosy like any handset on the Mi 5. There are some cons, but overall, considering the price point, I feel the Mi 5 is a very good device. Let's move. This is by Shubham. He's asking, I want to know which memory card is the best for the Galaxy S7 Edge, preferably under rupees 1000. I would say I'm using the Samsung Evo Plus, what do you say, memory card with this S7 Edge, and I've even recorded 4K video on it and it's working fine. And that card is not that expensive. I think so. I purchased the 64 gigabyte card and it was for 1200 or something on Amazon India. Obviously, you can get the 32 gigabyte variant for around 700 rupees. So Samsung Evo Plus. Let's move. Let's now refresh, guys. Give me a second. So just going to take the last quick questions. Let's start taking it. This is by Karan. He's asking us, is the S7 Edge worthy upgrade from the Note 5? I would say, obviously, the S7 Edge is the new flagship by Samsung. It's obviously more powerful, but if you already have the Note 5, I would say the Note devices, again, I've told this hundreds of times, this S Pen is what makes the Note devices really special. But if you think you don't use the S Pen features, in terms of improvements, I would say with the S7 Edge, the biggest improvement is in the camera, I would say, especially if you take a lot of pictures in indoor and artificial lighting. The camera is a huge improvement on the S7 Edge. And also, I feel the battery life is actually much better compared to the Note 5. You can easily get over 1 hour of screen on time more compared to the Note 5. For example, I had the Note 5. With average usage, I used to get about 4 hours of screen on time with a typical full days of use on the Note 5. But with this S7 Edge that I have, I can get easily about between 4.5 hours to about 5.5 hours. I also sometimes, let's say, if I'm mostly on Wi-Fi, I can even touch 6 hours of screen on time. So the two big improvements for me are the camera and the battery life. So it's up to you to decide. Let's move. This is by Pinkesh Jain. He's asking, is it worth to buy the Lenovo Vibe X3 now, or are there any alternatives to Vibe X3? Is it still a good? I feel still the Lenovo Vibe X3 is a very good buy in my opinion. It is offering a lot, I would say, for the price, and I don't think so as of now we have any device in the 20,000 price band which I would recommend over the Lenovo Vibe X3. Let's move. Moto Turbo SoC 805, is it a good buy? Don't buy the Moto Turbo. It was not a good phone. Watch my review. Last year I did it. It has heating issues and lots of issues. Again, a similar question. Let's just take this. This is from Dibijit Pai. He's asking, do you think it's worth upgrading from the S6 Edge Plus to the S7 Edge? Again, it comes down to the battery life was actually good on the S6 Edge Plus. This is not the regular S6 Edge, but the Plus variant, which had the 5.7 inch screen. And the battery life was good. But again, in terms of camera, yes, the S7 Edge has a better camera. And again, I feel the S6 Edge Plus was a little bit bigger. It was sort of phablet because it had that 5.7 inch screen. But this S7 Edge has that 5.5 inch screen. So it sort of fits in a single hand, I would say. But definitely the S6 Plus was a two-handed device. This is by Aman Kapoor. Is OnePlus One still worth it in 2016 in terms of performance? Now the OnePlus One is sort of old. It's having the Snapdragon 801 chipset, which is pretty old. So I would not recommend that. Instead of that, you can get some other devices. For example, the Vibe X3 has the Snapdragon 808, and definitely it's a much better device. Again, the OnePlus 3 might be launching, so it's pretty old, I would say. OnePlus One was a great phone, but now it's pretty old in my opinion. Deepan J is asking, how poor is the low light performance? I would say it's just sort of average, nothing that spectacular. The Mi 5 in low lighting conditions. A good thing is that there is not a lot of noise in low lighting situations, but you have to crank it up the exposure a lot because the images are pretty dull in low lighting with the Mi 5. So yeah, if you were expecting miracles with the Mi 5 in terms of low light photography, no. That way the Nexus 5X does far better. This is by Pravan Devan. She's asking, looking for a router at rupees 2,500. Is the TP-Link Archer C20i still a good router? Yes, it's a good router. I reviewed it last year and it performed very well. Routers, yeah, for that budget, that router offers a lot. It is actually a dual band router and it even has the Wi-Fi AC band and a USB port. So you're getting a lot for the price of just about 2,500. Okay, this is an interesting question. Let's take it. This is by Dilip. He's asking your thoughts on the HTC 10 and the HTC's double standard for releasing a low-end variant in India. Again, yes, I'm really disappointed with HTC, what they are doing. We are getting the Snapdragon 652 variant, not the Snapdragon 820 variant. And we know the HTC's pricing in India is always overpricing. So I doubt it will be less than 40,000 even for the Snapdragon 652. Just imagine, guys. Let's just imagine. Redmi Note 3, 2 gigabyte. Let's take the the HTC HTC 10. It's not M10. HTC 10. The 652 variant comes with 3 gigabytes of RAM. So let's talk about it. The Redmi Note 3, okay, 32 gigabyte variant that comes with 3 gigabytes of RAM. Okay, is priced at what? 12,000. Now let's see what will be the pricing of the HTC 10. That has the slightly better 652 processor. The the Redmi Note 3 has the Snapdragon 650, which is a 6-core processor, whereas the Snapdragon 652 is an 8-core processor. But yes, I'm really disappointed because I highly doubt that the pricing of the HTC 10 in India will be sort of mid-range. It will be again a premium device for HTC, and I won't be surprised if it's priced at 40 or 45,000. So I feel HTC is simply digging their own grave because what do they think? What do they think? Do they think the consumers are fool? The consumers are very educated now. They know what they are buying. And simply for Asia region, you are giving them the Snapdragon 652 variant, which is bonkers. Last year also HTC did the same thing. They didn't launch the premium HTC One M9. I in fact imported it. They launched the inferior Helio X10 variant in India. So again, we are getting the short end with HTC. And I think so. This is the reason HTC is just sort of digging their own grave. I'll be surprised if they last longer. Anyways, let's move to the next one. But only thing I really like with the HTC 10 is that one new feature is that even the front-facing camera now has optical image stabilization, which is actually surprising because no one else has done that. So if you're a kind of a selfie person or who likes to take videos on the go, then it might be interesting in my opinion. Anyways, let's move. Let's move. HTC 10 I've taken. Sudipto is asking Lenovo Vibe X3 or the Xiaomi Mi 5. What's your choice? Again, it depends. If you're a music lover, listen to a lot of music, obviously go with the Vibe X3. It has better music output, louder speakers. Also in battery life, I did some testing, and in fact I'm testing both the devices. I'll post a comparison video sometime next week. But even in battery life, I'm getting better battery life with the Vibe X3. But again, this is a flagship device. The Mi 5 also has its other advantages. The fingerprint scanner is way better on the Mi 5. Also in camera, I would say the Mi 5 does slightly better. Particularly in video, I would say the Mi 5 does a lot better because of that optical image stabilization, which is missing on the Vibe X3. So I would say you have to decide what is very, very important and then go for it. Overall, I would say both of these devices as general devices perform very well, but each of them has their own strength and weaknesses. Let's move. I don't know. I don't get this question by Anirudh. The better camera question. M3. I don't know what is M3. Anyways, let's move. Dhruv is asking, is it okay for Snapdragon 615 to be at 47 degrees centigrade? I have Eureka, which is at 50 degrees when idle, and Mi 4i 45 degrees. Max temperature, it's really high. End of the story. But don't worry, the nothing will happen to the device. The device, generally most of these smartphones have thermal throttling. If they reach the processor is going to get damaged, they close it themselves, but you're burning your hands. I feel anything over 44 degrees centigrade, when you're using a device, it starts to burn. And yes, when I tested the Mi 4i, it even went till about 47 48 degrees. Hence, you watch my Mi 4 review, I said like it's a heating machine. And obviously the Eureka was also total stupid disaster. Let's move to the next one. Okay, Kenneth, why no root? You should ask that to Samsung. Okay, Kenneth is asking about why no root is there on the S7. This is by Jeremy Cooper. He's asking, Samsung Galaxy S6 has the Exynos 7420 and the J7 has Exynos 7580. Is the J7 more powerful phone? No, no, no. You are getting it completely wrong. You're just looking the numbers. That's not like that. The Exynos 7580 is not a very powerful chipset. The Exynos 7420 is much more powerful device. The J7 is simply not that powerful. For example, that's why if you look at the A7 2016 edition, Samsung utilized this Exynos 7580 in that. And because it has a 1080p display, the A7 2016 edition, it was struggling a lot in gaming. So definitely the Exynos 7420 is a way more powerful chipset. I'm just going to take one question per user. Abhishek is asking, OnePlus 264 gigabytes versus the Mi 532. Obviously, the Mi 5 is the latest, having the Snapdragon 820 chipset. Obviously, it's a better device. And the OnePlus 3 will also have the Snapdragon 820. So, yeah, definitely the Mi 5 is a more powerful device. This is by Chirag. He's asking, which is better on an overall performance, Redmi Note 3 TV LE1S or the Lenovo K4 Note? Okay, this is interesting. I would say I would give the first vote to the Redmi Note 3. At the second position, I would vote the LE1S, and last position would be the K4 Note. In fact, Chirag, you should watch the comparison video that I did with all these phones. Just check my channel. I posted it about about 1.5 months back. So you can get in all the details where I compared each and every aspect of those devices. So let's move now, and I'll just check the audio, guys. 1 second. Okay, it's working. Great. Vishal is asking, I need one suggestion. What will be the best OS for OnePlus One? At present, I have Oxygen, but it's very less customizable. Actually, Cyanogen mod works actually really well with the OnePlus One. So if you're okay with flashing it, give that a try, in my opinion. But just again, back up your data, because flashing it will wipe all the data. This is Abhinav is asking about what do you say, Blitzwolf Bluetooth speaker. Sorry, I haven't tested it, so can't comment. Somya Deep Sen is asking, the Redmi Note 3 32GB variant is again unavailable. Is it good to go with the K4 Lenovo K4 Note? No, don't go with the K4 Note. If instead of the K4 Note, I would suggest the LE1S. The LE1S is a far better device than the Lenovo K4 Note. And I've heard that the 32GB variant will be available on the me.com website. On Amazon, I think so, only the 16GB is going for the flash sale. But on the me.com, the 32GB variant might be available. Galaxy S6 Edge or the Galaxy Note 5, which one should I go for? Shantam, I would say between the S6 Edge and or the Note 5, I would personally go with the Note 5, because the fingerprint scanner is better on the Note 5, and even the battery life is actually much better than the Galaxy S6 Edge. Obviously, if you can go with the S7 Edge, go with that. That's the best one as of now. Let's move. Let me take this. This is by again. I've already answered this question, but again, I'm getting this is by Sadhir. He's asking LE1S or the Redmi Note 3, which one performs better and which one has a better camera? I would say in the camera performance, both are very similar, because in some situations I would say the LE1S did better, but in a lot of other situations the Redmi Note 3 did a lot better. So the camera is neutral, but if I have to pick one device between the both, then I would go with the Redmi Note 3. But again, even the LE1S was a very good device. The big advantage that we have with the Redmi Note 3 is the battery life is way superior compared to the LE1S. In fact, I already did a comparison video between both these devices. So again, check my channel for that info. This is by Adesh. He's asking, will you review the LG G5 or the HTC 10? And what do you think about the LG G5's metal body issues? I will try to test the LG G5 when it officially launches in India. But HTC 10, I don't know as of now. I'm sort of really disappointed that HTC is going to release only the Snapdragon 652 variant in India. And it will depend on the pricing. If HTC India is stupid and they price it about 40 to 45,000 for the Snapdragon 652, then I won't be interested, because bonkers. The Snapdragon 6X series is an upper mid-range device, and if HTC wants to charge a premium price 45-50,000 for that, I would say it's stupid. So it will depend on the pricing of HTC in India. Let's move. Let me just refresh the question, guys, and let me actually show you. I just wanted to show you this, guys. I also have guys, let's continue. Let me just refresh the question. So let me just take them up. Okay, some computer related question. Let's take that. And this is by Bala. Sorry, I got your name wrong. XPS 15 2016 edition or the MacBook Retina 2015. 15-inch usage mainly. I would say the MacBook, just the MacBook. I think so. You are referring to the slim MacBook. MacBook 15-inch. The slim MacBook is just 12 inches as far as I know. For 15 inches, you would have to go with the MacBook Pro 15. That is the 15 inch. What I am actually using. I use the MacBook Pro 15 inch. I would definitely say the XPS 15 inch is a much more sleeker device. It has that edge-to-edge display. So though it's a 15-inch device, it's a lot more compact. The chassis is like a 13-inch device. But again, it'll come down to what OS do you like. Do you like Mac OS X? Then obviously the MacBook Pro would be for you. Obviously, if you are on the Windows side, then the Dell XPS 15 might be a better bet for you. So anyways, let's move to the next question. And this is by Abhijit. He's asking, are you planning to review the Oppo Selfie Expert? Sorry, as of now, I have no plans. If I get some time free, I might, but as of now, no. This is by Jaysurya. Does the Mi 5 have FM radio? And what about the battery life do we get on per day? Jaysurya, you should actually watch the FAQ video that I did on Mi 5. I posted it just last week. That answers almost all the common questions about the Mi 5. Regarding the FM radio, sadly, the Mi 5 does not have the, FM radio. This is by Akash. Again, I'm getting a lot of questions regarding the Mi 5. This is by Akash. He's asking Moto X style or the Mi 5. My priority overall performance and battery life. Obviously, the Xiaomi Mi 5 is a far powerful device compared to the Moto X style. Also, I would definitely say the Mi 5 is a better device. It has the fingerprint scanner, IR blaster, and also in terms of battery life, which you have asked. the Mi 5 does get better battery compared to the Moto X style. The only big con that I can see with the Mi 5 is the Android updates. Obviously, the Motorola device will get the Android updates faster. And again, if you like that stock Android experience, that you would not find on the Mi 5 because it uses the MIUI and it's so heavily skinned that you hardly feel any difference if it's even KitKat or even Marshmallow. For example, the Mi 5 comes with Marshmallow, but many of the Marshmallow features are sort of disabled. For example, you don't get the Google on tab. Even the Marshmallow native permissions are not there. It uses its own MIUI. So again, but to sum it up, the more powerful device, definitely the Mi 5 is a more powerful device, and even the battery life is better on the Mi 5. Let's move to the next question. This is by Swaran Gorals. One second. He is asking, no, let's first take this Yash's question. He's asking, is the Mi 4 still worth, or should I go with the Mi 5 because it's not a proper budget? Yash, if you have the budget, go with the Mi 5. Why do you want to go with the Mi 4? The Mi 4 is almost 1.5-year-old model, I would say. It's running on a very old chipset. It's running on the Snapdragon 801, whereas the Mi 5 is running on the latest generation Snapdragon 820 chipset. So definitely, if you have the budget, go for the Mi 5 in my opinion. This is by Swaran Raj. He's asking, please suggest me a phone better for gaming, budget 30,000. If you have a budget of 30,000, just go with the Mi 5 for gaming. Just watch the gaming review that I did with the Mi 5. I posted that last week sometime on my channel. Brilliant gaming experience on the Mi 5 thanks to the Snapdragon 820 chipset, which has one of the most powerful GPUs available, that is the Adreno 530. So for gaming, excellent choice, I would say. And it does not have extreme heating issues also. Let's move. This is by Gautam, and I get a lot of questions similar to this, so I'm going to take it. This is Gautam. He's asking, suggest me a smartphone under rupees 20,000. My priorities are camera and overall performance. Gautam, the sad fact is that you are not going to get a superb camera performance under the 20,000 price band. If camera is your highest priority, I would say add a little bit more. For about 23,000 or so, you can get the Nexus 5X, which has a very good camera in my opinion. But if you can live with the okay-ish camera, I would say, again, my vote would go with the Lenovo Vibe X3 because at 20,000, this is an awesome device. The camera is sort of okay, but again, the Nexus 5X has a better camera. But overall performance, I would say, for 20,000, the Vibe X3 would be my pick. Let's move. This is by Niraj. He's asking, good phone under rupees 20,000, requirements, good call clarity, good battery, under 5-inch. Oh my god, why did you say under 5-inch? You can have a look at the Moto G3. That is a decent device, performs well, and is around the 5-inch mark. I would say if screen size is not an issue, definitely go with the Redmi Note 3 because it has a fabulous battery life and overall way more powerful processor. I don't think so we have any other brand that is giving the Snapdragon 650 SoC at around the 10,000 to 12,000 price point in my opinion. That way the Redmi Note 3 is offering us a lot. Let's move. This is a piano is asking, what do you think the future of smartphone will come with 10,000 mAh battery? I don't think so it will happen because that way the phone will become really, really heavy. For example, Lenovo did launch the Lenovo P1, which I tested. It had a 5,000 milliamp hour battery. The phone was good in battery life, but it was sort of heavy. So it comes down to the weight. So I doubt we will see any time phones with those kinds of battery life because the phone will become so heavy. Let me quickly. Okay, let's take this question. I do get this a lot. This is by Samrat Khanna. He's asking, which video editor do you use? Can you suggest one for Android? Oh, I don't do video editing on Android. I do it on my Mac. And I use actually, Final Cut Pro X for all my video editing needs. And but again, it runs only on the Mac and it's a paid software. I think so it's $300 US. uh, give me a second, guys. Okay, let's take this question. This is a computer related question. I'll just talk about it. This is by Ashutosh. He's asking, is it worth to buy the iPad Pro 9.7 inch? Can it really replace a PC? No, iPad Pro can simply not replace your PC. iPad Pro is nothing but a more powerful iPad. It just cannot run, what do you say, desktop apps, complicated apps and stuff like that. If you want that, go with the Surface Pro 4. That's the main reason that I bought this Surface Pro. For example, as you can see, I can do real multitasking. I can run servers on it. I can do actual coding, development stuff and all those things. That is simply not possible with the iPad Pro. The iPad Pro is just a powerful, what do you say, iPad with pen input. And again, for the pen also, you have to purchase it separately. That is one of the main reasons I got the Surface Pro 4. It's a real computer, I would say, full-fledged computer. In fact, I have some servers loaded on this. I had an Apache server on this. I can do some development. For example, the geekyranjit.com website, when I was making and tweaking around, I did it on this. Those kind of stuff is simply not possible on the iPad. Even a simple, what do you say, file browser to manipulate the files is not possible on the iPad Pro because it runs iOS, which is a very limiting OS. You just can't compare it to a desktop operating system. Let's move. Let's quickly move. Let me just refresh. This is by Akash Pandey. He's asking, I heard that the Moto X Style has serious heating issues. I won't say it's serious heating issues, but yes, it can go up to about 42 degrees centigrade. But with gaming, yes, it does get pretty hot. So if you're sort of a gamer, in fact, I also noticed some heating issues with the Nexus 5X. It did touch 46 degrees centigrade when I was doing some gaming. So yes, with gaming, the Moto X Style does become quite a bit hot. Krishna, he's asking, how is the after sale service of Xiaomi in India? The after sale service in Xiaomi in Hyderabad is actually good because they have a dedicated full-fledged service center for Xiaomi. In fact, I've already mentioned about this. One of my cousins about 6-7 months ago broke the screen of a Xiaomi device and they got it replaced within 3 days. So let's move. And guys, it's been over 35 minutes now, so I will be ending this live Q&A session. And again, guys, remember that we do this live Q&A session every, what do you say, Tuesdays at 7 p.m. India time. So I hope that you'll be able to join me also next week. And if you're not subscribed to my YouTube channel, hit that subscribe button. And also, if you are not following me on Twitter, do follow me on Twitter at Geekyranjit. So again, guys, thanks for watching, and I hope to see you again next week. Thank you.